Well, good Wednesday evening, everyone. Todd Warren here on Facebook Live tonight, also on the weather page of KTALnews.com. For those watching there, the comments you're seeing here are coming from my page, Todd Warren Weather. Same applies for those of you watching on the NBC or Fox pages. As I will do my best tonight to answer any questions that you may have about the thunderstorms, which are on the way for tomorrow. Coming up, I'll show you the latest on the timing of the storms, how long they'll last, how much rain we'll see, kind of touch on the threats that we could be facing, and make a little bit of an emphasis on the biggest one, which more than likely is going to be damaging winds. And I'll show you where those winds could be at their strongest coming up in just a bit. There is some chance for a tornado or two. I'll show you where that could be at its highest as well. Friday, there's a chance for some thunderstorms, but most high-res models kind of backing off on the intensity of the storms in our area, which of course is good news. I'll tell you what's ahead for the weekend, and then it looks like plenty more rain on the way for the middle of next week. I'll touch on that in grain of salt time tonight. If you have a question or a comment, feel free to ask away, as I mentioned. And it is tradition to begin the festivities with our hellos on relatively normal nights like tonight, and it's becoming tradition to end on a lighter note, which I do plan on doing tonight. See who's tuning in. Gary, hello. Betty, no bad weather. I wish I could oblige, Betty, believe me. I wish I could. Craig, hello. Michelle, good evening. I'm going to tell you, hang in there. Not looking good for the other states. It's pretty. Actually, we've seen worse, to be honest with you, Bonnie, but still, anytime you have severe weather, it is for concern. Michelle, I'll show you how bad and what to expect here in a second. And Jesse, hello to you. Oh, a lot more than I thought. Sarah, we do have a risk for severe weather, mainly wind, Sarah, tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. Paige, hello. Marnita, greetings. Eric says 75 in Colbert, Oklahoma. Eric, if I missed you last night, apologize for that. Shelley, good evening. Crystal, good evening. Sarah in Natchez, Mississippi, out of state. All right, well, welcome aboard, Sarah. Let's get going. You can see the view from the camera there in downtown Marshall. Mostly clear sky this evening. As anticipated, the morning clouds did give way to some afternoon sunshine this afternoon, as we did see gusts approach 30 miles per hour at times during the afternoon this afternoon. And what we're going to be looking at here moving forward is that we will see conditions that will kind of go downhill. As I show you the weather map here for the past or next 4 days, you can see that we are going to be looking at, again, this cold front, which is going to be approaching the Arklatex here during the next 24 hours. You can see the thunderstorms increasing in advance of that cold front. We will see the frontal system continue to stall out some as an area of low pressure develops along that front late tomorrow night. And then as that low moves away, we'll see that push with this frontal system through the area during the nighttime hours tomorrow night. Moving ahead to what's ahead for the weekend, we will see conditions that will improve as we will quickly clear out Friday night. Saturday looking okay. And then there's going to be a little disturbance that some models indicate. You can see that low in Texas. That's eventually going to begin to move back towards the north and east. And with this trough down here, that may give us a shot for some rain Sunday. But most of that rain likely will stay down to our south, the way it looks right now for Sunday. So that's kind of a quick look at the pattern across the country. Let's talk about the severe weather risk right now. This is the latest outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, and you can see it does show that when it loads, that we do have a slight risk for severe weather, which is expected to encompass pretty much all of the Arklatex for tomorrow and tomorrow night. And I apologize for the lagging that is taking place here. You can see how long it's taking my graphics to load. So anyway, you can see that slight risk, pretty much all of the Arklatex here. Not much over in Mississippi for tomorrow and tomorrow night. Your chance may be Friday, but it doesn't look quite as bad for you as it perhaps could be for us. Main concern is going to be wind, and I'll touch on that here in a second. And just as a review, we have that 1 to 5 risk scale that SPC puts out. This is a 2, so low end, but basically yellow means that any severe weather issues should be somewhat scattered across the area. As far as the risk for Friday, you can see that the main risk does shift to the south, and does the marginal risk, in other words, more isolated severe weather, extends up into Mississippi, southeastern Arkansas for Friday. So that's when and where the risk will be at its highest. So let's get into it with a look at Futurecast here. And this will should give us a pretty good handle on what we're looking at as far as the timing of things. As I step through this, you can see the clouds increasing across the Arklatex tonight. As we go through tomorrow, we will start to see the scattered thunderstorms develop heading into the afternoon. And the last 2 runs of Futurecast have been very similar with the timing of the onset and the location of these thunderstorms. So it's kind of zeroed in on things, I think. So you can see the thunderstorms increasing near and north of Interstate 30 by mid-afternoon. By the time we get to 5 o'clock, the main focus, you can see the increase, which is going to take place as far as the intensity, and not a whole lot of movement to the south and east. Still pretty close to Interstate 30 by 5 p.m. And then it appears as if we could see a complex of storms develop here. You can kind of see this getting a little bit better organized. And it appears that during the evening is when the wind issues very well, the more widespread wind issues very well could be at their highest. So that's something that we'll be watching for. And if it does take place, like some of the HR model is showing, a couple of thunderstorms could produce winds up to 70 miles per hour. So again, wind could be a concern. You can see that activity move south into the southern edge of the Arklatex by 11 o'clock. And this is just a little bit faster than what the previous run of Futurecast illustrated when I showed it during the newscast earlier this evening. And then once that moves through, we'll take a break. And notice what happens Friday. Just a few scattered thunderstorms popping up, and you can see the stronger thunderstorms actually could be to our north and east, closer to where that upper level low associated with this is going to be tracking into the northern half of Mississippi, Kentucky, and Tennessee is where the action could be at its peak there if Futurecast is correct. And you can see it does show a little bit of a flare-up over southern Louisiana going through Friday evening. All right, so let's talk about the various threats that we could face. And I'll start with rain. This is the outlook basically just for this cold front from Futurecast. And I'll show you the combination of this and what could be on the way next week. Some rather impressive totals could be possible. But you can see pretty much all of the Arklatex at least in green. So most of the area will see at least an inch. Notice the areas of yellow and orange. That's where Futurecast shows amounts of 2 to over 3 inches will be possible. And this is going to be happening over a relatively short period of time, a couple hours. So we could have some isolating issues with flooding across the area. So again, don't take the numbers too literally because these do change. It really depends on where the storms strengthen and all that kind of good stuff. The key word here on this graphic is potential, and these heavy areas could happen pretty much anywhere across the Arklatex. Now, as far as the other severe weather issues, of course, over the weekend we had some issues with hail. We could see some hail, not really too concerned about that. Notice we're on the low end of the spectrum here with Futurecast. Over the weekend, Friday for Saturday evening storms, we had black and gray in those storms in some of them. Notice a little bit of that to our west, and it probably does look like this is going to be the area here where the threat for maybe that quarter-sized hailstone will be a little bit higher. So that's what it looks like in that sense. As far as the tornado threat, again, tornadoes will be possible. Notice we're on the low end of the spectrum here, and that kind of shows me that mainly wind, but a tornado or two possible. It does look like a low-end risk. I think the Storm Prediction Center does assign percentages to the risk and that risk is at its lowest percentage. All right, so the tornado risk is looking low. It does appear as if we see any, the chance, if Futurecast is correct, may be highest here across the northwestern, say, 2/3 of the area. Draw a line from center to Ringgold to Ruston, northwest of that, if this is correct, maybe where that could take place as far as, again, the isolated tornado. And if we do have any, they should be the 0 or 1s. The chances of a big one are extremely small the way that checks out right now. So that's pretty much the timing of things. Again, the storms move into the northwest corner in review here, probably during the early afternoon. By 5 o'clock, the main focus will be near I-30. By 8 o'clock, the main focus will be from Spring Hill to Shreveport to Carthage. And by 10, 11 o'clock, we should see it moving through Natchitoches and Sabine parishes. That's the timing that we're looking at right now. I will tell you that the afternoon run of the HR model was a little bit slower. That model is coming in, the evening run, which goes out far enough. And let me call that up here quickly and see how far it's gone out. It does look like it has gone out past our, and it does go out far enough. So let me see what it looks like as far as the timing. And it is a little bit slower. Okay, so this is another possibility, and again, we have the battle of the high-res models here. Futurecast relatively fast, the HR model a bit slower. So again, the storms begin later here. This is 3 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, you can see the increase that takes place, and this is 8 o'clock. You can see the main focus a little bit further to the north and west than what it was with Futurecast, and you can see that this right here would be the location of that complex of storms, if you will. All right, so if this verifies, perhaps more wind in southeast Texas than further east in the Arklatex. So again, point here is that not everything is yet set in stone, but we are looking at that threat here for tomorrow evening, and especially tomorrow evening is when the storms probably will be at their strongest across the area. All right, I'll pause here and take a look and see if we have any questions here. Not going good for the Norman. Yeah, it's kind of busy up there, Albert. I did notice a tornado warning up there, although when I come in from dinner, I'm kind of focused on getting everything set up to get this going here. Sarah in Brooklyn, New York, hello. Very cold there. You actually will not have to worry about anything until Friday. Sarah, as far as your weather, and then end of next week, it's looking very wet for you there in New York. Tanya, hello. Rusty. Thanks, Rusty. I've noticed that. I don't know what I've tested everything. When I tested it this afternoon, I thought I had it fixed, but obviously I don't know what's going on. We'll probably have to wait until I get new hardware. Oh my goodness, Norm is here tonight. Hello there, Gary. I did take a quick look at you. Goose eggs for you, man. Surprise, surprise. Mary, hello to you as well. Okay, so I kind of touched on the short range. Let's do a quick look at the longer range pattern here. And again, I apologize for the lagging issues. Believe me, that's out of my control. Could be the internet. It's hard for me to figure out what's going on. Anyway, let's move on and show you the 10-day pattern. And you can see the upper level low, which is going to be responsible. And there's the negativity of this trough here, which will produce, again, the best chance, probably northeast Friday night of the Arklatex. And then heading into Sunday, here's that disturbance down along the Gulf. I think this is where most of the rain Sunday will be. We will see lots of clouds as a result of that. A little bit of a chance of rain Monday night into Tuesday, perhaps a few thunderstorms. With this pattern, not too concerned about severe weather for the middle part of next week just yet. And then we should see this trough move through and dry us out Thursday, Friday, Saturday of next week. So for a change, we're not ending a week with thunderstorms. Seems like every week, every Thursday, Friday, or Saturday this spring, since the end of February, we've had thunderstorms. And looks like we may break that streak next week. We will see. Due to the lagging issues, I'm not going to show you the 2-week temperatures because it's just going to freeze. So I'm not going to bother with that. So here's a look at the 10-day look at rainfall. And this combines the rain from our cold front tomorrow and tomorrow night, maybe Friday, to the rain that's anticipated next week. And you can see 10-day totals. These, in some spots, more than double what's normal for a 10-day period, end of April. So you can see 3 to 4 inches across most of the Arklatex is what we're kind of looking at as far as rainfall here during the next 10 days. I don't know, Betty. Why is Betty wants to know why things are? It's just a kind of a weird thing, just coincidence, is the only explanation I can say. Well, I'm sorry to hear about your husband, Betty. Hopefully he gets better soon. But just keep in mind the risk for tornadoes tomorrow is low, so that should ease things a bit. But we will have some wind issues. All right, so. That being said, let's kind of wrap things up here for tonight, and I'll send you on your merry way as we kind of redo the forecast. And again, the tradition here is that this will cause some lagging, this graphic, so get ready for that. So you can see tonight we're going to be looking at the clouds increasing across the area. Temperatures will not be as cool, as will probably settle into the low to middle 60s across the Arklatex for tonight. And then tomorrow, thunderstorms will increase. The main emphasis for the storms will be across the north during the latter half of the afternoon and across the south during the evening and early overnight hours. Daytime highs ahead of the storms will likely be in the low to middle 80s across most of the Arklatex. 80 tomorrow in Texarkana, 84 in Shreveport, 76, a little bit cooler where the rain arrives sooner in both Idabel as well as in DeQueen. 86 also for the high temperature in Natchitoches. 10-day forecast shows that we will see the cool down. Saturday looks awesome. If you have some plans this weekend and are flexible, choose Saturday. 75 sunny, cloudy 66 Sunday. You might see some rain in the tomorrow's forecast for Sunday. We'll see. The model's been trending sooner. Slight chance of rain Monday. Main event will be Monday night, Tuesday night. It ends Wednesday. We should close next week with a drier pattern for the most part, as daytime highs should warm from the mid 60s Monday up into the mid to upper 70s for next Tuesday. So that's the way it looks right now as far as the 10-day period. And again, a quick look at the national radar before I sign off here, and you can see that conditions here obviously across the Arklatex are dry, but as I switch this to the national view, Lee mentioned the thunderstorms in Oklahoma. You can see this is the same system which is headed our way, producing mainly wind and hail issues, a few tornadoes around, as Lee mentioned, around Norman, and those storms do extend back into the southwestern sections of Texas. So I don't see Chris on here tonight. He usually requests a dad joke, so I'm going to try to, if he watches this later, he can. Again, this is how we kind of lighten the mood on nights like tonight when we have severe weather. So here we go. There are 4 guys on a ship with 5 cigars, but they realize they don't have anything to light them with. So they decide they're going to throw 1 cigar overboard, and that made the ship 1 cigar lighter. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, anyway, folks, that'll do it for me tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Again, we do have the risk for wind tomorrow, especially. A tornado or 2 will be possible. A couple of inches of rain, 2 to 3 inches of rain possible in spots. And the storms probably will be at their worst during the evening over the southern half of the Arklatex. And there's still some uncertainty, some disagreement in the models as far as the exact timing. Of course, we'll give you the latest tonight at 9 on Fox, as well as at 10 on NBC6. I'll try to show the latest HR run during the late newscast. And of course, Josh will be along tomorrow morning with another live update. So again, thanks for tuning in. I'll be back here tomorrow night with another live update, unless we have tornadoes. Until then, have a great night and stay safe. Good night.